Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be taking a high level look at the Arcade1 system, and I'm just going to go over some things that you guys should know. I'm also going to talk about my website and just some commonly asked questions and issues that people have. So starting here with my website, there's a lot here to help you guys navigate the system. There's a lot of answers here. And there's also a lot of answers in my YouTube channel and in my Facebook group. So if you go over here to support, you can see there's a start here section. Now this has some essential videos that you guys should definitely watch, like Toolkit, which is very important, and this one here, which is very important as well, that will talk about how to deal with system freezes and system lockups and stuff like that. One main takeaway from that one that I'm going to tell you right now is to never hold down the power button on your system. If you think it's frozen, never hold down the power button because that is bad and it could cause damage to your file system. All right, so taking a look at other sections of the support section here, you have your common fixes, you have instructional videos. Now if we go in there, these are some essential videos, just a small sample of everything that is on my YouTube channel. Now if we go over here to common fixes, you're going to find some common fixes. Now here's a problem that some people have. Their controller for the Nintendo Switch isn't working. Well, if you go here, there's a video on how to fix it. It literally takes a minute or two. It's very easy to do, but here's the answer. And then once you do that, you really shouldn't have that issue again. There's also an issue where some of the gun games, some people try to start the gun games, they get an error. The reason for that is because those games are actually behind a paywall by the emulator and the developers. They used to be under Patreon, which is what you see right here. So those games are called Technoparrot games. Technoparrot is the name of the emulator that runs them. And Patreon, if you guys don't know what that is basically a subscription-based website for different things. So point is that those games need to be paid for. And that is not something that is under our control. That is the emulators, developers. Those games are included because people ask for them, and eventually they do get moved into a free state, but until then they do require a subscription. So if you're starting, particularly right now, they're under the gun games. There's also a dedicated Patreon games wheel, and I'm going to leave it as Patreon for now, but they're actually not under Patreon anymore. They're under a different subscription. But if you go here to the website, to the Technoparrot website, technoparrot.com, you can go over here to subscription, and then this is where you can become a subscriber. So you go in there, you sign up for an account, you choose whatever method you want, whether it's monthly or yearly, and you pay for it, and they give you a key code or a serial key, and then you input that into the emulator. I'm going to show you how to do that in a little while. First, let's just get through some of this other stuff. So again, if you try to launch a game, the loading screen will actually say Patreon account required for this game, and that's what this is. There's not that many games that require it, but that's what that is. So as you can see, my website is a great resource to pretty much get answers for a lot of questions that you might have or issues that you might run across. I also have a YouTube channel and a Facebook group. So if we go back to start here, these links are throughout my website. You can see them on the bottom here, but they're nice and big right here on the start here page. So you have your YouTube right here, and you have my Facebook group. So let's go ahead and click on YouTube channel. It opens in a new tab, and let me pause this. Here you go. You have a lot of videos here that are not on my website. So the best thing to do if you're looking for something, you have trouble with something, is to use this internal search right here. If you use the one up here, it's going to search all of YouTube. We don't want that. We want to search only my videos, so you use this one here. So here's another game that some people ask about, Golden Tee. So if you type in Golden Tee, enter, boom, you get two videos right there. Now, this Golden Tee 2020 game is based on an Android emulator, and just like on your phone where you have constant app updates, you're going to have the same problem with this game. It's always getting updated, so you have to keep up with it. You also need to make yourself a Google or Android account, Google Play Store, I believe it is, because it's like if you had a phone and you had this game on your phone. So you make yourself a Google Play Store account, which you need to go and sign in with, and then whenever there's an update, the game will tell you there's an update, and you have to go ahead and update the game so you can keep playing. So this video here shows you how to do that, and this other video shows you how to actually play the game, because the controls are not as straightforward as some of the old Golden Tees. So this shows you how to play the actual game. Then the last resource is my YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and click on that. And right here, is the channel. You can see right now there's 900 members. It's a nice community here. It's a private group, so you guys don't need to worry about anything. Everybody here is really friendly. We keep everything really relaxed. So there's a lot of answers in here. If you go over here to the search, same thing. You have some sort of issue, try searching for it here first. And not only that, but I post updates here all the time, so you guys can stay up to date with all the updates. And there's a video showing you how to find all the updates. If you look here in featured, if you scroll to the right there, which you do by pressing this button here, you're going to see there's actually a video in here on how to find updates. Right there, finding updates in order of release. And there's also a spreadsheet right here that shows all of the updates and when they were posted. Okay, so great resource here for you guys as well. All right, and let's go back to my website and look at one other thing, and then we're going to go ahead and start Hyperspin and talk about a few things there. So let's go ahead over here to support and compatible controllers. Now this is where you want to come if you guys have any issues with a certain type of controller, like your steering wheel or your gun games, your guns, your Sinden or Aimtrack guns. So you come over here and you go to, let's say, the light gun section, and then you go to Sinden light guns. All right. Here it shows you how to set them up. This is the main setup video. And then there's another video that is pretty vital, is this one here, which is the Techno Parrot games that we just talked about a little while ago. Those are the two main setup videos. They're pretty straightforward if you just watch the instructions. And then over here, you have 3 games that require manual setup. So after you have these 2 configured right here, that's going to cover almost all of the games. But these 3 games, as of right now, these 3 games down here, this one, House of the Dead Remake, Blue Estate, and House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, each one of those requires a specific setup. And it's really straightforward, doesn't really take a whole lot of time, but you do have to go through and do those setups on each one of those games. If you have a Logitech steering wheel, there's a section for that. So let's see, that is under handheld controllers, light guns, go down, and here's steering wheels. Logitech G29. Boom, there's a video on that and what you have to do. Just very minimal setup, but it just shows you what you have to do. Like you have to go to the toolkit and select start driving, and that's the gist of it. But you know, you should definitely watch this whole video if you guys are going to get a steering wheel, so you know what you're doing, and that way you have the best experience possible. Same thing for guitars. Here's a video on how to use guitars with Guitar Hero and Rock Band and Clone Hero, which is a PC-based Guitar Hero Rock Band type of game. All right, so before we jump into Hyperspin, real quick, I just want to show you guys how to create your Techno Parrot account. So again, you go to the website, you create it, and then when it gives you the key, you need that key to put into the emulator. So you can go over here to this yellow folder, click on that, and you can go over here to emulators, and then you're going to look for Techno Parrot. Now, right now, the way these emulators are labeled could change in the future, but you're basically looking for Techno Parrot Patreon, which in the future might be renamed to Techno Parrot subscriber or subscription or something like that, since Patreon is no longer being used. But right now, it's called Techno Parrot Patreon. So here it is. You double click on that and you open up Techno Parrot UI.exe. You go over here to these 3 little bars and you go to subscription. Now, I'm not going to click on that right now because it'll show you my key, and I don't want everybody to know what my key is. But once you click subscription, there's going to be a box. You fill in your key, capitalize all the letters, and use the dashes in between the little sections. And then you click register, and then there's some text that comes out at the bottom that tells you that it's successful. And that's literally all you have to do. After you do that, any Techno Parrot game that is a Patreon game is going to work. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Hyperspin here. Here's my shortcut right here in the taskbar, and you also have one here on the desktop. All right, so this intro that plays, you can always skip it by just pressing any button on your control panel or your controller. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, so this is where you land when you start up your machine, when you start up your system. You just scroll up and down to navigate. Here's your toolkit, very important. Again, I have a video on everything that is inside of the toolkit. That's how you actually exit to Windows. If you go in there and you select exit to Windows, that's how you get back out to Windows. When you're here in the main menu, if you hit your exit button, this comes up. If you say yes, your whole system is going to shut down. So make sure you don't do that unless you want to finish for the day and shut down your system. So I'm going to go to no and select that. And then we're going to go ahead and back out. Or I should say scroll to another system. So the first thing I'm going to talk about here also is the systems that require handheld controllers. Some of these systems require handheld controllers or guns or guitars. So anytime you have a system that requires something like that, if you go into the system, on the bottom right, you're going to see an icon. For example, this one has an icon of a handheld controller, an Xbox controller. That tells you that PS3 requires a handheld controller. So if you have an arcade machine, you're not going to be able to play this on a control panel. It just doesn't make sense for a system like this to be played on an arcade control panel. So that's one thing to note there. All right, let's go ahead and back out and go to PC games. Now, PC games have they'll have like a controller next to individual games because there's a mix of games in there. Some require a controller, some don't. So if we go to PC games or Windows games, right here, you're going to see that some of these games like these don't have anything, right? So all of those could be played with your arcade controls, but this one has an Xbox controller over the logo. You see that there? So does this one, and these do as well. What that means is that you need to use a controller, and anything that doesn't have that, you don't need to use a controller for. Now, for you guys that have a trackball, these Angry Birds games, you can play those with a trackball because those are like point and click games, and a trackball is really a big mouse. So you can use your trackball as the mouse and your left and right clicks on your left and right click buttons. But anything else here like Battletoads or Batman or anything like that, you're going to need to use a handheld controller for those. And with PC games, there's another thing to talk about as well, and that is that you don't use your regular exit button for some of these. So let's say you go into a game and you press your exit button and it's not kicking you out of the game. That doesn't mean that the system is frozen or something's wrong. That just means that for that particular game, you need to go through the menu of the game as if you were using the game on a regular PC. You just go through the menu, you exit out to the main screen, and then you go to exit game. Every game's different, but you have to figure out, like with each game, what the exit process is going through the built-in menu of the game. And then once you select exit, it'll kick you back out here and you're good to go. All right, let's keep on moving. One other thing I want to talk about is pinball. So one gotcha with pinball is your coin button is going to be your player 1 button 1. Let me show you a diagram so it's easier to understand this. So let's open this up. Everybody's control panels are going to look sort of similar to this. So again, this button labeled A, that is your coins. This one, F, is left flipper, J is right flipper, E and K, I believe, are either nudge or MagnaSave. If you guys know pinball, you know what that is. And D and L are going to be your nudge or MagnaSave. Again, I forgot if it's one way or the other, but either E and K or D and L are going to be either MagnaSaves or nudge left and right. Okay. Then you have your plunger when you pull down on player 2 joystick, and you have your player start. That's it. That's as simple as it gets for pinball. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and head back to my website real quick and show you guys one other thing here. So let's talk about controllers and how to navigate the system. So again, for that, what you want to do is you want to go to support, and you want to go to instructional videos. And while I'm on this topic, always make sure that your controllers are turned on before you start a game. All right, so that goes for your handheld controllers, your Xbox controllers and guns and stuff like that. You don't want to start up a game and then turn the controller on. It's not going to work. It has to be on before you start the game. And always unplug controllers when you're not using them. That includes the receiver, the wireless receivers for the controllers. So here, what I want to show you guys real quick is definitely watch these videos here. This one here, the Xbox 360 and Xbox One controller instructions, just shows you how to navigate the system with those controllers. And then this one here says X Arcade, which is this device here, but this applies basically to all arcade control panels. Difference with you guys, or most of you guys, is going to be that you might have dedicated like exit, select, pause buttons and stuff like that on your control panel, which this device does not have. But the navigation idea and the flow is basically the same for all arcade style controllers. So this is definitely a good one to watch for that. It shows you how to go into favorites, how to do genres, stuff like that. All right, so I think I'm just going to end it there for now. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.